What should happen with Jones now?
Look, first of all, I agree with Dana. Jon Bones Jones is the best I've ever seen. And I thought certainly he had the potential to be the most accomplished. It does not look like that's going to happen right now. Furthermore, in a combat sport, when you're juicing, that's really unethical. It's really dangerous. It's not just that you're going to hit 73 home runs or 70 home runs or 66 home runs. Bonds, McGuire, Sosa. It's not just that you cheated in that way and you cheated history and the competition. You can actually hurt somebody badly. In fact, that's the name of the game in MMA. So it's really bad ethically along those lines. Furthermore, though, a lot of people top athletes in this country and really all around the world, there is the uppermost crust, right? The professional leagues and the stars in the professional leagues. It's rife with PED use, with cheating, and precisely that way, and precisely the way that Jon Bones Jones cheated. Except most of them are getting away with it. That stuff is very sophisticated now, very difficult to catch people. So my question to Jon Bones Jones is, not only are you cheating, and that's bad and all that stuff, but how are you getting caught? Now, either you're stupid or you're arrogant, right? And I've had conversations with Jon Jones, interesting conversations. I don't think he's stupid. I think that Jon Bones Jones is so arrogant that he barely thinks he thinks he barely has to cover up what he's done. He doesn't take the time to even diligently go about carefully, assiduously covering his tracks. He just kind of does it, whatever, like someone who parks it in the handicap space and just kind of and leaves it there, right? And not care. There was an issue with that with Andrew Bynum a couple of years ago. It's just arrogance, and that arrogance is his hubris that's undone what could have been the greatest MMA career ever. I agree with Dana. It could be over for him.
It could be over, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Max. I'm just incredibly sad. I love Jon Bones Jones, man. He's the best I've ever seen. He's the best in the world, man. And, when he had the issue with the cocaine and what have you, and he ended up getting himself suspended for a year when before he was supposed to fight the second time against Daniel Cormier. I felt really bad for him because I saw a guy that had problems. This is not problems. This is trying to get an unfair advantage, if this is indeed true. And it's inexcusable. And this is a guy that tormented Daniel Cormier, said, what's going to be, he tried to point to, Daniel Cormier tried to point to steroids the first go round. What's his excuse going to be this time when I beat him? And then suddenly you test positive. And one of the things that I wanted to point out, Max, there was a guy by the name of Dallas McCarver, who was a bodybuilder, age 26, who passed away. He sort of talked about he choked on his food and what have you, even though you've got some people that are speculating about him. There's another guy by the name, I think it was Rich Piana or whatever, that was in an induced coma because he was a known steroid user for many, many years. I bring stuff like that up as it pertains to bodybuilders because on many occasions, Jon Bones Jones has been seen with bodybuilders. And one of the things that I heard one bodybuilder talk about one time, he said the one thing that you've noticed that's never associated with us is the word health. Because the reality is that we do a lot of things to compromise and sacrifice ourselves in order to look a certain way to be elite in this profession of bodybuilding. And that's somebody that Jon Bones Jones, those are the kind of folks that Jon Bones Jones has been seen around. So when you combine that, it's one thing to have a drug issue, your dependency on cocaine or something else. That involves our compassion. We have to be, we try to be compassionate about something like that. But with steroids, you think performance enhancement, and there is no excuse on God's green earth why the greatest that we've seen, Jon Bones Jones, should be involved with something of this nature. It's inexcusable.
Well, it calls to question, Stephen A.
GAT Nutrition, which is some of the products that Jon Bones Jones used. They put out some article talking about they want everybody to know it's not responsible for Jon Jones' failed PED test because they're disassociated. They say there's nothing in our products that are illegal or anything like that because they took it as him trying to throw them under the bus. So it seems like a storm of stuff is coming his way, and as a result, his career could be in grave jeopardy.